Well, I can tell you it's being taken extremely seriously by at least any part of the government I'm involved with. I went to the briefing 2 days ago with Secretary of Interior, Secretary of Commerce, EPA Director, most, if not all, of Congress. We are very, very focused on this right now, and so is the executive branch. So I can tell you, just from what I know, in the U.S. government, I think people are doing about all they can do at the moment, including my son, who works for NOAA, who was just shipped out to Seattle. He works in the Oil Spill Response and Prevention Division of the National Oceanographic Administration Authority. And it's interesting, the center for their decision-making is in Seattle. That's where they do the computer. When you go on a website, if you go home and look at the website, that's the NOAA modeling as to where the slick is going. It's done right here in Seattle. So they shipped my son, he's working in D.C. right now, they shipped him back to Seattle to work in that right now. So, and I can tell you, these people are working 24/7. So I think we're getting that part. Your question about financial responsibility, we intend, no matter what it takes, to make sure that the private companies responsible for this pay every penny of the cleanup and damage costs associated with this. Every penny. And right now, they have paid into a $1.5 billion fund, which is available today to pay for those damage and cleanup costs. But if the costs go over that, right now, under the law, their liability is capped at $75 million, unless they do certain designated things. Now, they may have done those certain designated things, so they may be legally liable up to infinity. But if they haven't, to make sure, I introduced a bill last week that raises that cap way beyond what this is going to even cost, which is $10 billion. So we have introduced a bill to raise that at least to $10 billion. And if the damages are over $10 billion, we'll raise it to $20 billion. And if we have to go to infinity, that's fine with me too. Because the industry should be responsible for all of the costs associated with this, which unfortunately could be enormous. Now we hope that these caps that they're working on will work. If they work, it won't be 100%, but there's a possibility that they can reduce it substantially. We hope and pray that those will succeed. So one way or another, they are going to pay, because you should not have to, and I should not have to. Your third question about, are we doing everything possible with the disbursement? I'm going to ask about this other dispersal system. I'm not sure what you're referring to. I'm going to take a look and see if there's something we haven't used. I have to tell you, though, that there's quite a bit of bad news when it comes to oil recovery. The fact of the matter is, once you spill 5,000 barrels of oil a day, you are going to have significant damage to the ecosystem, no matter what you do. There's no technology on Earth that can prevent very, very significant environmental damage once you have this amount of oil in the water. It doesn't matter how many booms you have, it doesn't matter how much dispersal you have, it's going to hurt a lot of the ecosystem. And I'm afraid we're going to have that kind of situation. And it's going to hurt it for a long, long time. The herring stocks up from the Exxon Valdez still have not recovered. And you'll see they're still digging up oil 20 years later from the Exxon Valdez. So this is another reason we need a clean energy policy. And if I can, there's a wonderful woman here today I would like to apologize to her for a moment. Because I want to give a 2-minute recitation of the dangers of oil and oil spills that she has heard now 400 times. And she's going to have to listen to it again, and that's my wife, Trudy Inslee's in the back. Trudy, could you raise your hand just so they make it a respect that you're having to go through this again? She hears me talk about this every day, but I want to share something with you. This oil spill is only a pinprick of the damage that oil is doing to the oceans. And the reason is that every single oil well has an invisible oil spill associated with it. Every single one. Because when we burn the oil, it makes carbon dioxide. That carbon dioxide goes in the atmosphere over the oceans, and then it sinks into the ocean. It goes into solution in the oceans. And when it goes into solution, it creates carbonic acid. It makes acidic ions in the ocean. And the oceans now, because of the coal and oil we burn, are 30% more acidic than they were in pre-industrial days. That acidity is going at such a high rate that by the end of the century, the scientists are telling us there will be no coral reefs on the planet Earth that are healthy, anywhere on the planet Earth within my grandson's lifetime. We have not been able to grow a crop of baby oysters in Mason County and Hood Canal for 2 years, probably because of this acidity. This is not absolutely conclusive yet. And 40% of the food chain that are in the Pacific Ocean that our salmon eat will dissolve in the next 100 years, because they make these little calcium carbonate bodies. And if you show a picture where you put them in the acid water, they melt. They literally melt. So even if we never spill another drop of oil, we are creating these massive invisible oil spills that have the potential to very, very seriously disrupt the food chain of our oceans. And that's why we have to, in the next several decades, figure out some alternatives. Fortunately, good things are happening. I drove the Chevy Volt. It's an electric car, plug-in electric car on Earth Day. The Ford Focus is coming out, gets 100 miles, all electricity. There's some really, really good things happening out there. So I think we should now